So I know I was going to talk about truth and beauty and faith, small things, but all got jumbled into one of our four sacred elements: the earth, the air, the fire, the water. I'm going to talk about the sacred water, the gift of water, the God gift of life. And I do want you to close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to picture yourself at your absolute most favorite body of water. Whether that's the ocean, the river, the lake, wherever that special place on the planet is. And I want you to picture yourself either beside that water or in it, or buoyant on it in your boat, hearing it, if it's cascading, if it's a waterfall, if it's running, if it's placid. So holding that, the gift of water says we need a renewed spirituality of water that recognizes its centrality for all life, all God-given life. We need to treasure it as that life-giving gift of God and the beautiful sign of God. So you can either keep your eyes open or closed. When is water not beautiful? We can sit by a placid lake and watch it all afternoon. We can sit by a waterfall and listen to it all day. My daughter, my beautiful daughter, just got back from Croatia, and she texted me when she was there, "Mom, I'm just so happy. Every day I'm in the water." She's in the Adriatic, beautiful crystal water, and that was a blessing to me because that was a spirit moment for me. I knew that she was being blessed on the planet. So when we turn the faucet on and we just have faith that the water's going to run, and we just, in fact, we're not really even thinking about it. I gotta wash my hands, okay. I know I'm probably not the only one who's had this vision, but what if you turned the faucet on and there wasn't a drop? Would you panic? Would you not have faith anymore? Would you think this is the end of the world? And so what I'm going to challenge you today with the true faith is doing all the work, all the loving work that we would do every day to be grateful, to give back, to honor, and to protect what we love, which is always a God-given thing, to have faith. So once we've done all of that, all day, every day, giving back and blessing and protecting, then we can know, having faith is knowing. We can know that when we turn the faucet on, the water will run. And the water will run clean and clear and beautiful for everybody for the next 7 generations. In the Native tradition, which I've studied a lot of, you're always living for the 7 generations. Not just you, not just your child, but your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. So let's look at that well of water. Christ even described himself as, "I am the living water." Because water is spiritual in nature, just the nature of it. When we're baptized, we go through that font of water into the new life with Christ. All of the healing stories of where Christ and the prophets were washed with water, their feet with water, their purities are washed out with water. Water fills everything it enters. Just like we need water physically in our bodies, the God presence fills every part of us. Holy water. Holy water is used in blessings all over the world. In Hinduism, all water is sacred, and there are 7 sacred rivers in India. We all know the Ganges, and we know all the stories of people going down to be healed in the river of life. In Islam, there's something called wudu. In your 5 daily prayers, before you pray, you go to the purity of water, and you wash your hands, you wash your head, you wash up to your elbows, you wash your feet and your ankles. So we have all this worldwide sensibility about water being sacred. And so even then, it is surprisingly dismal the way we treat our waters on this planet. Even though we can't go without water for more than 3 or 4 days. We can't live without water. It's the medium we spend our first 9 months in our mother's womb. We come from water. The water inside our mother. Water is 71% of the Earth's surface. Our beautiful blue planet is called a water planet. 65% in babies more of our bodies are water. So we are more water than we are anything else. And that being said, less than 0.5% of the water on Earth is drinkable. 97% of it is salinated, is salt water, and whatever that other little 85% of our fresh water is locked up in ice caps. So how do we, with faith and beauty and loving kindness, treat that element that is inside and outside of us? In developing countries, 80% of the industrial waters and sewage are dumped into our water sources untreated. Mississippi River carries 1.5 million metric tons of nitrogen into the Gulf of Mexico every year. It's a dead zone the size of New Jersey. 40% of the lakes in our America the Beautiful are so polluted we can't swim or fish in them. Each year, 1.2 trillion tons of untreated sewage, stormwater, and industrial waste are dumped into U.S. water. I'm going to stop there. We don't need to go any further with that other than to say, how do we have a change of heart? And part of what we come together to do in the spiritual practice is to work on that which is most difficult, which is having a change of heart. Again, when you're unconsciously doing that, it's not difficult. But when you're consciously doing it, it to be constantly in heightened awareness. Heightened awareness is a spiritual practice. I was just with someone doing that. I was up in Canada, 2 hours above Montreal, with a gathering, and many of them Native American grandmothers. One, she's Algonquin, from the Algonquin tribe. Grandmother Francine, her whole mission in life is that water is life. She's walked more than 3,000 kilometers at once across Canada, walking to protect our waters. She was invited to the UN and told them, even in Canada, there were something like 1,000 towns or town cities where there was a red alert and everyone was required to boil their water due to fracking. This is in Canada, our great, wide, open wilderness. So the Native people say, and carry this faith, if you stand by the riverside, the water will remember you. Water is alive. Water will remember you. They use the term matakwe oyasin. All things are related. What's on the inside is on the outside. We also know that term, namaste, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you. We're made of the same thing. So if water is the lifeblood of our Mother Earth, it's in our own bodies. We're the keepers of that water. The native people sing to the water. They sing to the sun every morning. They call the water a being. They call the sun a being. Those beings give us more than our human being relatives give us every day. They give us light. They give us warmth. They give us water. So, because it's alive, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Dr. Masaru Emoto. Probably a lot of you may have, so maybe a lot of you haven't. He's a Japanese scientist, doctor, who started studying how water crystallizes based on the atmosphere, the vibration surrounding it. And he started to take photographs over a 3-hour period of time of water crystallizing. And when he played Beethoven, and he played holy, beautiful church music, and when he played those beautiful sounds of love, water crystallized, and I wish I had the pictures, but you can look him up online, not right this second, Dr. Emoto. The water crystallized in these gorgeous, shining, stunning snowflakes, like the ones when you're a little girl maybe, or I was seeing the snow, those incredible, beautiful flakes in perfect white. And when he played nasty, awful, angry music, or angry words, the water literally flowed, didn't even crystallize, it froze in globs of cloud that turned like yellowish brown, actually even changed color when it froze. And he furthered that study with some jars of rice. And he took, since he's Japanese, he took 3 jars of rice and put water, covered them with water. And with the one jar was the loving jar. And every time he walked by, he would, "Oh, I love you." And the middle jar, totally ignore. Don't even look at it, don't even go near it. And then the far jar, "I hate you." Just all kinds of nasty, awful energy toward that jar. And I actually did this with my 4th graders when I was a teacher. And it's so wonderful to do with them because they're so pure of heart. They're like, "Oh yeah." They're all ready to just love that love jar and hate that hate jar. We did that, and lo and behold, really, you can even try this. What happens is the jar of rice that you're putting out vibration of loving kindness stays white, stays beautiful white rice grains, and the ugly one really does, again, change color and turn brown and get nasty grains. Okay, so that is how powerful our vibration of love, our vibration of caring for not only each other but the planet we live on is. So if water in particular carries that energy, vibration, and inside of us, if we treat the outside with caring, loving, kindness, and gratitude, if we're stewards of the outside, of the Mother Earth, then our inside will automatically reflect that. I think a lot of us tend to, and I hate to say this, I just learned this too, speaking to an incredible woman who's a facilitator up in Canada, and she said, this generation, we all have names generationally, the X generation, and the millennials, and the baby boomers. This generation, 2000 to 2018, is called the silent generation, which I would rather change that title meaning they're so overwhelmed with what's happening in the world that they're silent. The Great Depression generation was also often termed the silent generation. Too much of a burden to carry. But what if we could not turn our backs on the dirty water and come at it with our faith and our action that ensues. And when we every time turn the faucet on, it's sacred time. We have incredible gratitude, and it's a luxury. We actually even pray with our water every day, sing to our water every day. We can mirror its properties. It's a universal solvent. It can seep into anything, no matter how hard the substance, and it can break it down. It can run into the tiniest, weetsiest places. So we can go into the lowest and poorest and humblest of places. As you know from Corinthians, love is not boastful or puffed up. It is humble and kind. Water is patient. Water will spend 1 million years forming, creating tunnels into rock, creating the Grand Canyon. How much faith can we have in being that patient, in believing in innate goodness, and believing in the life-affirming outcomes of our actions? Water purifies. It cleanses. Just by washing over anything, the silt and the rest will go away. So we can flow as water flows. That nourishing brings about harvest. Love like water. Love this water inside you that flows. Send that vibration out to everything you touch. I think what I'd like to do is sing a song. It's really simple. It's darling. I learned it in Canada. And we can sing it for and with each other. And then I actually have a big, beautiful bowl of water that I took from the creek this morning. And we can go out and circle around that bowl. We can cup that water. We can each get a cup in our hands, sing to the water, and we can splash it on ourselves and each other, or we can throw it over the railing to the earth. And we can have that prayer that my father would have. Because he drank, when I was a little girl, he drank from the river. Drank from every river we ever went to. He just got down on his knees. He was also an Appalachian boy. Born and trained. Got down on his knees and drank from the river. So maybe with that blessing we can hope that in 10 years with that new silent generation we can rename them the generation that drinks from our rivers. So here's the song. You can look at each other, you can not look at each other. You can do whatever feels right. And you can just, like we did, kind of call response the first round, and then we'll sing it together. Let's sing it 4 times. We would honor all the 4 directions as the native people would, and we would honor all the 4 elements as the native people would. So it goes like this. Because I love you so much. Because I love you so much. Because I love you so much, so much, so much. Because I love you so much, so much, so much. Because I love you so much. Because I love you so much. With all of my heart, hey, Because I love you so much. Because I love you so much, so much, so much. Because I love you so much with all of my heart. Because I love you so much. Because I love you so much, so much, so much. Because I love you so much with all of my heart. Thank you. If you'd like to go out and gather